Good morning and welcome to your garden tour. Here I have burgundy hollyhocks that I grew from seed. They're enjoying the warmer weather. Parsley's looking good. Here's the onions. Some of them are starting to push up, like this one. Maybe I'll get some decent bulbs. And the dahlias recovered really well from the frost. They go all the way down. This is the last seed tray that I haven't planted. It's got cosmos and zinnias and a few other things, some basils. Here are my crisp head lettuces, which don't do well in the heat normally, but this is a variety that can handle the heat, and it's been pretty cool at night still. I put some yarrow in the blank spots. And these are the Swordleaf lettuces. They are really, really good. I'm going to grow way more of them next time around. And then these are the Wild Garden Mix lettuces. Just a bunch of different varieties that all came in one seed packet. I love the speckled ones. Red ones are pretty cool too. Here and there I've got wild sheep sorrel, which it just grew naturally, and I didn't pull it up because it's got a really tangy flavor, sort of like rhubarb. And this last batch of lettuce is Tom Thumb Butter Crunch lettuce. Thomas Edison used to grow it in his garden, and it looks like it's starting to head up there, and I'm just going to cut them whole and either sell them at the market, or I'll probably have to sell a few at the market because I don't think I'll be able to eat all these. Next to the last of these Tom Thumb lettuces, I have some St. John's wort, which is not just for depression, it's really good for your liver. It makes it like supercharged. And then here I planted some oric, which is it's like lamb's quarters, but domesticated, really big, and does well in the summer heat. And then the rest of the way down I planted the roselle hibiscus. And maybe I'll throw in these eggplants as well. I left them out to see if the flea beetles would do anything to them, because I don't want to put them in the ground while the flea beetles are active, because they'll just kill them. They're horrible. And down at the end here, I've got some savory that I grew from seed. Boy, this camera is not handling this light. But that's the savory there. And feverfew, which is supposed to be good for migraines and fevers, apparently. So I'll just make some tinctures from that this summer, just to have them on hand. And these tall things growing along the fence are something that they kind of look like Queen Anne's lace. Ooh, they're starting to do their thing. Look at that. They're called Ami Magus. Anyway, they great big white umbels. Just sort of a ornamental flower that can be used in bouquets, but it also attracts the beneficial wasps that eat the pests. So I want that. Here's some Mexican tarragon I got at Walmart. I like tarragon in my chicken soup. Okay, I'm back at the beginning of the next row. I've got some zinnias here. I don't remember what kind. I don't know if they were even labeled because the tray got rained on and the seeds kind of moved around. And then this is all the snap beans, the green beans, this whole row. And, well, some more Mexican tarragon there. And I also plugged in a few herbs. There's a kind of basil that I haven't grown yet. I forgot what it was called. And purslane. So many of the things I'm growing on purpose are things that I used to pull out of the garden at Grandma and Grandpa's. Purslane is super high in omega-3s, and it has a nice lemony taste. So I'm letting that grow along with the sheep sorrel. And then just beans, beans, beans. Look at this guy. This is the one that survived the frost. We're getting there. Come on. Well, anyway. Next row. This is a type of salvia called Fairy Queen. It has blue and white blossoms. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And then the rest of the row is dry beans, or beans for, soup and stuff. You can use them as snap beans, but I'm growing these mostly for the dry beans. And this is a weed, I guess. It kind of looks like it might make a pretty flower, so I left a few of them, and they really like the compost. So we'll see what that turns into. I would tell you all the varieties of beans, but I'm not going to go there today. Alright, I found the white balance on the phone, so hopefully this will be a better picture. This is some fennel that I popped in. I'm not growing it for the bulb because I planted it the wrong time to get a bulb. Maybe I'll still get one, I don't know, but it's mostly for the butterflies and to attract the beneficials. And then the rest of this row is cucumbers. These are dragon's egg cucumbers. They're white and apparently really prolific. They have been doing well compared to some of the others. They had a good germination rate and they've been growing strong. Here's another one of those plants that I suspect might have a flower. We'll find out. And then further down the line, here's one of those basils that I popped in. There's a very sad looking cucumber there. Got a little bit beat up. This is the dragon's egg. I wonder what that was. Oh, who knows? Anyway, cucumbers, cucumbers, cucumbers. And then it switches over to mini melons. Right about, this is jelly melons. I figured I might as well grow a few of them because I can sell them all winter. And these are mini melons. This is the cicada sweet that you can eat with the skin on, like an apple. And this is the Kajari melon. I'm going to try it one more time. I didn't like it the first time, but maybe I was letting it get too ripe, I think. Find out. And this is a Charente French muskmelon that I saved seeds from, so it might be crossed with something else. We'll see how that turns out. This is Armenian cucumber that I threw in. The only two Thai green cucumbers that germinated from some old seeds I had. And this here, I planted seeds for the golden Jenny cantaloupe, which is like a baseball-sized cantaloupe that's supposed to be really prolific. I grew it 2 years ago, and I liked it, but it wasn't in very good conditions. It was too dry, so it wasn't as productive as maybe it could have been. And I want to try again. And this, I don't know what it is, but it sprouted after I dumped the seed tray back into the soil bucket, so I moved it in here. There's another one of those Ami Maguses. A bunch of them. They go all the way to there. And then I have moonflowers and another type of sort of morning glory related thing called Spanish flag that has the pretty red and yellow flower stalks on it. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And here's the kiwi. And I planted the other two kiwi on this side. And then there's some more St. John's wort. And This is my big melon row. It's got a little bit more compost and a little bit deeper. These are these are Tuscan cantaloupes I got from Walmart. We'll see how they turn out. And then the rest are Iroquois cantaloupes that I saved seed from last year because they did really well, even in the thick clay soil. And these are watermelons. The black-tail watermelon that I saved seed last year. I know they'll do well. They were awesome. And I've got a couple orange watermelons, hopefully, from seed that I saved, but it might have been mixed with something else because I didn't grow that melon. It was just one that tasted really good. I'm back up to this row because I skipped it. There's some more St. John's wort, and these are all marigolds, little marigolds here. I'll pinch them when they get to 4 inches tall, like it said on the seed packet, and that supposedly will make them all bushy, and I'll have big mounds of marigolds by fall, which should be pretty. They're a variety that has single blossoms that are gold and orange, and I like the colors. And here are my tomatoes I planted them sort of down at the bottom and left the compost up on the sides so that as they get taller I can move the compost in and cover the stem. For these last ones, because they were kind of small when I planted them, I just wanted to get them in the ground because they were a little bit stressed for nutrients. And I didn't want to pot them up because I'm lazy. But here are the ones that I did pot up. And the first ones that I started, you can see what a difference that time and coddling makes. This one, I think, is the 4th of July. It's should be an early tomato. And this is the pink oxart. Look at that. It is going to be, that's going to be an ugly tomato because it's got a compound flower. But it's supposed to make big tomatoes, like a pound or 2 pounds. I don't know. Never grown it, but I've heard good things. Somebody sent it to me from their family's collection that dated back to the 1900s, I think. Really cool. So I've got 3 of those right here. Do you like my bamboo things? I put rebar in the ground and then just bamboo all the way up. It should work really well with this kind of bamboo because it's so thick. I don't think it'll break even with the wind and the weight of the tomato. And then just more tomatoes, a lot of San Marzanos and chocolate cherries. And see, here's the rebar. I couldn't get this one to go down any further. I've got a couple of, these are the gold, what are they called? Gold berries. They're black. There's a little spider. Well, they ran away. But they turn black wherever the sun hits them, the tomatoes do. So it's a yellow tomato with black blushing. And it was delicious last year and super prolific and didn't seem to have any issues with disease. Even though I never staked it last year and it was laying on the ground, it just kept going until the frost. It was awesome. So I've got 2 of them from my last seeds. And I'm going to definitely save more seeds from them this year. And then down at this end, these are the tomatoes that I bought from Walmart that got frozen and came back. This one all the way down to the end. They are the Super Sweet 100s, the first 2, and the Sun Gold hybrids. They're both hybrids, I think. But yeah, I just wanted some early cherry tomatoes, so I got those. I'm looking forward to them. This is the next row, which is going to be pole beans. I've got my T-post in here. I'm going to put cow panels all the way down, following along there. I've got to fill it up with compost, and then I can plant them. And then here I'm going to have a walkway with flowers on either side, leading up to my someday seating area that'll be shaded and have vines growing all over it, and maybe a little water tank with fish and lotuses or something, because I could have lotuses growing in here and not worry about the goats eating them. So yeah, those posts are my black locust posts that I'm gonna do 2 more up here, and then have a little seat inside and put bamboo slats across the walls and the roof. So yeah, that'll be nice. And then these are milkweed that I started. Don't know where I'm going to put them. These are some green glaze collards that I haven't planted yet. But I really like the green glaze collards, even though they seem kind of wimpy compared to the regular kind. But I love how the leaves are shiny and smooth. Here's the bee balm I bought yesterday. Look at the color. It's going to be so pretty. Don't look at the price. And there's the echinacea that I bought. I just got to plug them in somewhere. They're going to be along the edge leading up to the seating area. So I've got this row of melons, and then there's going to be another row of just flowers and pretty things. And so that'll make a nice walkway. And then on the other side will be the beans, you know, providing some shade and just a green wall of delight. And then this last plot is corn. I got as much planted as I could because like I said, my germination was pretty awful. But I got this end planted. And I don't know what I'm going to do in the rest of it as I wait, because I don't want to plant the corn, different varieties of corn, too close together in time, because I don't want cross-pollination. So maybe I'll just throw in some radishes or something. It's kind of late for radishes, though. I don't know. Need to mow back here. It's getting a little deep. Here, on this row by the fence, I have St. John's wort and feverfew, and I think that's it, just St. John's wort and feverfew. They were the 2 medicinals that I've wanted for a long time, but have not successfully grown yet, and this year I'll have a bunch of them, so I can make a lot of tincture. And then I haven't decided what to put from here to the peas. These peas are doing well. The rabbit never got them. They're really growing now that they're getting some runoff from the compost too. And right about here, the sunflowers start. The big ones are giant sunflowers that'll be way, you know, all the way up to past the T-posts. And then I've got little ones in between that are a variety called citrus, which is, I think it's one of those ones that has just petals all the way to the center and no obvious disc. And then another variety that's called, don't remember what it's called, but it's red and white, so that'll be cool. Yeah, all the way down sunflowers. And then I still need to fill the rest of this in with compost. After the corn, that's the corn plot there, and this is all going to be squash, but I don't want to plant the squash until after squash bug breeding season, because they're evil, and I don't want to give them anything. And right here in this area, you can see they're starting to come up on this side where I sowed them earlier, and I sowed more over here. These are called Tong Ho, I think. Chrysanthemum. They're an edible chrysanthemum that have really big leaves and flowers. You can eat both the leaves and the flowers. Very tasty. So they'll be, they'll be quite tall as well. Make a nice edge there. And then there's the gate. And don't look over here. It's so bad. I just put some sulfur on the blueberries. After all that rain, they probably need a little something. But looks like we'll get a couple of berries already on this pink lemonade blueberry that you bought. This one over here is not making berries, but that's okay. sulfured them both, and I also sulfured the ones up top. So much weeding to